Saffron is a semi-tropical plant and it's grown in the region with normal cold in winters and warmer and dry in the summers. This plant is resistant enough against the cold weather, but during its growth that relates to seasonal time on the ground. It needs normal weather. Saffron can endure at the minimum of -18 centigrade and maximum +40 centigrade. Where to grow saffron? Although saffron can be grown and fertilized in most of the grounds, but it cannot be cultivated in the grounds. Those contain gravel, shaded grounds, tree-full grounds and rice grass fields. The fields those are chosen for saffron cultivation should have normal lighter soil, rich in elements, paved and nurtured, should have open space and accessibility to water sources. Preparation of the field for the cultivation. In the preparation time for saffron cultivation, very special attention should be paid. In the autumn or winter season, the saffron field should be plowed 25 to 30 centimeters deep. After the spring seasonal rain and toweling the fields, 8 to 16 tons of manure fertilizer is incorporated to each hectare of ground. And then the ground is again plowed for better mixture of soil with supportive elements. Plotting the field. For watering saffron field in the best way, the field should be plotted. The measurements of the plots should be designed according to the slope of the field and power of the water. Usually plots are measured up 5 to 10 or 6 to 10 rectangle meters. Collecting and storing saffron bulbs. From June till October, it's season to collect saffron bulbs, and the fair time to collect saffron bulb is June and July, because saffron bulbs reposes in this time. While collecting saffron bulbs, the ground should be dry and very expert farmers should hand pick up the bulbs in a mild weather. And immediately after collecting, the bulbs should be stored in a cool place, away from sunlight and with height of 20 centimeters on the ground. Selecting saffron bulbs for cultivation. Saffron is only cultivated or produced through its bulbs, although saffron bulbs can be cultivated in any size and weight. But for the better harvesting, few points should be considered, like no lighter than 6 grams, no pucker bulb, devoid of anu infections and no sign of damages on the bulb. Each productive saffron bulb gives an average of 3 more bulbs annually, decays itself. Sorting saffron bulbs. Saffron bulb has the brown fibrous cover. If saffron bulbs were not separated or cleared from its cover whilst cultivating, that would grow with delay. So it's necessary to clear the saffron bulbs from the cover and a button-shaped tissue which is at the lower of the bulb. It's quite necessary to clean saffron bulbs from the extra weeds, infected saffron bulbs and other sorts of harmful plants. How to disinfect saffron bulbs. To prevention of saffron bulbs of fungal infections, after the sorting of bulbs, they should be disinfected by saracen and 350 grams of saracen into 100 gram of saffron bulb. Saffron cultivation. Saffron is cultivated in June till October, and the best time for saffron cultivation is June and the first week of July. In this time saffron bulbs repose well, we can retake them from one field and cultivate them to another field. The other important point is the cultivation method. To prevent problems whilst picking up saffron flowers and field reforming, it is better to cultivate bulbs in rows. The distance between bulbs should be 5 to 10 centimeters. Between rows 25 to 30 centimeters and 15 to 20 centimeters deep in the ground, which depends on dramatic cold or hot climate. It should be considered to keep the sprout side of the bulb upward when the cultivation happens in June, July and August. To prevent ground crack and gaps in the hot seasonal cultivation, the fields should be troweled well. After the fields should be left to normal, and then the fields should be fully watered in the last weeks of September for 5 days. If the saffron cultivation happens in September, immediately saffron fields should be fully irrigated. The benefits of manure, its amount of usage. Animal fertilizer is much important in reforming and fertility of the soil and increase the saffron production. Manure should be purified and separated from weeds and gravels. The amount of 5 to 8 tons of manure should be incorporated with the fields every 2 to 3 years, and we should make 3 parts soil and 1 part manure. The fields should be totally cleaned and cleared every useless elements like weeds, gravels and etc. This should happen before the first irrigation, not after the irrigation. Field irrigation. The first irrigation is very important, so the farmers should consider seriously. If the first irrigation happens before the right time, saffron leaves and then bulbs come out. That would make saffron cultivation and bulbs weak and difficult to pick up flowers. As well as if irrigation happens later and they would face frigidity, these all situation brings much negative effects on the scale of quality and quantity of saffron production. To prevent any deficiency and specify the right time bob irrigation, in the mid-October, few sample bulbs should be evoked from different areas and checked. If saffron sprout is 2 centimeters, then we can fully irrigate the fields. If the sprouts were no so, then the fields should be fully irrigated on last week of October. Ranking the ground. After the first irrigation, when the group changes to brownish color, ranking should be accomplished. The ground ranking should be on the upper layer of the ground, just 7 cm and with slope shape. The slope shape ranking can help the ground maintain its moisture as well as saffron. Sprouts and flowers can easily come out and grow. Ranking the ground has many benefits like helps the ground maintain its moisture, useless weeds are controlled, helps the mixture of soil with manure make the saffron flowers easier to pick up and supports saffron bulbs growth. Preparedness of collecting saffron flowers and process. Usually time for collecting saffron flowers starts at the beginning of November and continues till the western region like Heart Province. In fact, the farmers obtain and get the result of their entire seasonal efforts. So there should be a complete and proper plan before and during saffron cultivation, to receive the best results and do not face any harm whilst collecting saffron flowers. It's to consider that the process of saffron cultivation and collecting requires much efforts. All the hygiene measurements that play the main role in obtaining saffron should be seriously considered. These hygiene measurements are the staff involved in the whole process of cultivation and obtaining must be held to avoid the saffron bulbs affection from different diseases, bacteria and viruses. The children must not be used or recruited for the saffron cultivation process. The staff involved in the process must have clean-cut nails. Before the picking up saffron flowers and during the process, the hand should have been washed with soap. Wearing clean clothes are obligatory. Covering hair is necessary, especially for women's. All the kits and tools are used in the collection process must be clean and standard to avoid influence of external materials into saffron flowers. Chemical reflection must not be applied during the transferring saffron flowers. Standard plastic baskets should be used, not plastic bags. Saffron storing area and place should be clean and neat and secured from dust, pollution and all insects. Saffron flowers should be picked up in standard plastic baskets before the sunrise. Saffron flowers should be picked up with all concentration and the little flower buds should not be picked up with. If any delay happens to the collecting process of saffron flowers, probably same disease and harms infect saffron flowers. Irrigation, plowing, toweling and other fertilizer should not be applied to the fields whilst collecting saffron flowers. Transferring and storing saffron flowers. Saffron flowers should be transferred from the field to the storing place using the standard plastic baskets with no pressure or weight on the flowers. Before the flowers separating process starts, saffron flowers should be kept in a dry, cool, clean, out of sunlight room. There should be distance of 20 centimeters above the ground and between each one of the baskets too. Separating saffron filaments and flowers. Saffron flower has 3 sepals, 3 similar petals, and those contain 3 red filaments in the flower, which are main product of saffron. The separation process of saffron requires much more delicacy. Therefore, the delicate and patient staff should be assigned for this processing. The method is to hold the flower in the left hand, cut out the saffron petals, separate the red filaments with yellow stamens 2 mm away and then place them in the specific box to dry it. Separating the red filaments from the yellow stamens depends on the varieties and different qualities of saffron. Drying saffron. Saffron is dried through many methods in our country. We would mention few usual methods. Drying saffron by electric machines. These are few kinds of electric machines for drying saffron. The simple electric machines, automatic electric and other kinds. Whenever we use the simple electric machines to dry saffron, first we need to place some 100 to 200 grams of fresh saffron into sieve and put it on the electric machine under the temperature of 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. And the adjusted temperature should remain till saffron gets dried properly. The fan under the electric drying machine should be on to distribute the heat equally to all the parts of the machine. The drying duration depends on the sort of machine. To assure that saffron is dry, squeeze a piece of saffron with fingers. If saffron breaks into parts, that shows saffron is dry. If not so, then saffron should be kept more time to get dry. Drying method with sieve. Drying saffron by sieve is also a useful and simple method. In this method there is a sieve, soft cloth, store and oak charcoal is needed. Oak charcoal doesn't smoke much and doesn't harm the perfume of saffron. After igniting the charcoal, put the stove on a reasonable place, put the cloth in a sieve and scatter 100 to 200 grams of saffron into the sieve and hold the sieve above the heating charcoals with both hands. For understanding the heat temperature, we need to hold back of our hand above the stove for the assumption of 60 to 70 degrees heat, then slowly turn the holding sieve above the stove to heat all the saffron, and every minute check the heating temperature using your hand above the stove and change the holding place of the sieve. In this method, we can dry saffron in 20 to 25 minutes. Cooling the dry saffron. After the drying saffron, it's required to put on clean cotton to make it cool. Cleaning and sorting dry saffron. Cleaning saffron from extra items like leaf pieces, flowers, brushwood, gravels, hair and bread pieces and other insects' signs can make saffron much valuable and qualified. Therefore, we need to put some 50 to 75 grams of dry saffron in a glass or metal pot and remove all the extra items with a little pans. For making saffron, the same measurements. It's measured to separate the weak and little pieces of saffron. The clean and dry saffron should be kept in glass and aluminum pot and store them away from sunlight in a dry and cool place till the packing process. The second irrigation. After collecting saffron flowers. After collecting saffron, the fields require water. During the second irrigation, the amount of 10 kg of urea fertilizer should be incorporated on the each hectare of saffron field with hands. Reforming the field. Farmer described the weeds as natural growing unwanted plant, and these weeds extremely complete with saffron in the usage of light, water and other fertilizer. Weeds are also the receiver of plant diseases, so they should be removed from the cultivation fields at least 2 times after collecting the harvest by the mechanized tools or with hands. The next periods of irrigation. The after production irrigation should be managed considering the quality of the soil, weather conditions and scale of raining. If the raining scale is lower, then saffron fields need to be irrigated once in every 15 days. The last seasonal irrigation. The farmers also call this the dead water. This irrigation could change accordingly from the beginning of April till the end of April. When 50% of the saffron field leaves turn dry, we can fully irrigate the field. Then all the water channels around the saffron field should be properly blocked. There is no need of irrigation till 2 more months at all, because saffron bulbs repose in that time. Summer irrigation. For accelerating the physiological growth of saffron bulbs, it's necessary to irrigate saffron fields at surface level just once in the mid-August. Some expertise have shown that this irrigation brings remarkable increase in saffron flowers. On the other hand, this time irrigation supports plants in naturally early blooming. Saffron usage and its benefits. Saffron is usually used in variety of working dishes, drink-like saffron tea, variety of syrups, and it's used as sedative medicine. Recently, some improved countries like Japan is making much effort to use saffron for cancer cure. The few therapeutic features of saffron are mentioned: supporting digestive system, nourishing the stomach, anti-distension, soothing, anti-depression, boosting memory, useful for neuralgia reduction, breathing diseases, resolving sleeplessness, decreasing blood cholesterol, remedy for iron blood deficiency, decreasing percentage of heart attacks and increasing the heart and overall health. Saffron and its flower is also hugely used in the cosmetics.